Welcome to A Plus Biology class by Smer and Seer. Today let's solve May June 2023 2-2 paper. This is MCQ paper of IGCSE. Let's start the paper. So this is MCQ paper, 45 minutes is the time, and the question number 1 is which process occur both in plant and in animal cell? If we look at the processes, they have shown excretion. Yes, it occur in both. Phagocytosis, this process occur in animals, not in plants. And then photosynthesis, these two processes occur in plants. So it means excretion is the right answer. Some statement about species are given. The members of species all identical. It's not necessary that all members are identical. The members of species belong to same genus. Yes, this is right. The members of species can produce fertile offspring. Yes, this is also right because this is the definition of species. The species are named using international system which is called binomial classification. So binomial is the system. So answer will be D. Which structures are found in the cells of all the living organisms? If we look at the cell, every cell have the cell membrane, every cell have the cytoplasm and the DNA. So these are the basic structures. Chloroplast is the structure which is only present in the plant. So answer will be C, because cell membrane and cytoplasm are found in all living organisms. Here they have shown the diagram of palisade and they have shown this distance xy 20 millimeter and the actual is given 40 micrometer. The both must have the same units. The formula of magnification is equal to image over actual. Image is 20. Because it is in millimeter, we have to multiply it with 1000 to convert it into micrometer and then we divide it by 40. The answer will be 500. B is the right answer. So the diagram shows the root hair cells. When does water enter the cells? By osmosis. And water enter the cells always from high water potential, mean there is more water outside, and then water move from high water potential to low water potential. Okay, so water potential outside the cell should be higher, then it will move into the cell by osmosis. Which row shows the changes that occur during germination of seed? So when a seed starts its germination, the radicle, plumule are formed. This stored food break down and then the respiration rate increase. So we have this option, the respiration rate increase. Amount of energy requirement will decrease and the ions absorbed, because ions here they will move to the radical plumule by diffusion. So C is the right answer. The diagram shows the human alimentary canal, in which structure is most glucose absorbed into the blood. So absorption process occur in the small intestine because this part of the small intestine is surrounded by blood capillaries and every villus have many blood capillaries, due to which the absorption of digested glucose occur over there. The DNA contains the pairs of bases. Which pair shows the correct combination of bases? We know that adenine always combine with thymine and cytosine always with the guanine. So the combination C and G is the right answer. In which region, question number 9, in which region of the alimentary canal maltose digested? Because at the start, starch break down into maltose in the mouth and also in the intestine, but the final digestion is completed in the small intestine, where maltose is converted into glucose by the maltase enzyme. Here they have shown the 4 different graphs and 30 degree, which optimum is 30 degree, and which one graph showing the effect of temperature on the activity of enzyme. So actually, when we increase the temperature, the enzyme activity increase. If we have a substrate and if we have the enzymes and we keep on increasing the temperatures, the more collisions, more faster rate of reaction. This is shown by the graph D. So here they have shown the diagram, and you can see the photosynthesis experiment where this dark area is showing that light is not provided. So disk C and D is the two disks where there is no light. If light is not provided, it means no photosynthesis. So B is the disk which is in the white area. It means no chlorophyll, because if there is no chlorophyll, then photosynthesis will not be there and no starch produced. So A is the right answer, because here the photosynthesis occur, it's in the light, it's in having the chlorophyll, and then starch is produced in the disk A. The graph shows the effect of temperature on the rate of photosynthesis. Which statement explains the changes in the rate of photosynthesis between 15 and 20? So they are asking about round about this temperature between 15 and 20 during this time period, because and temperature is increasing, rate of activity is increasing. So during that time period, the kinetic energy of molecule increase, result in effective collision, due to which rate of reaction become higher, because this is the explanation of this point. The lack of which component of balanced diet leads to the development of scurvy? Calcium. If there is a lack of calcium, then the disease name is rickets. If there is a iron, then disease name is anemia. If there is a deficiency of vitamin C, the disease name is scurvy. And if the vitamin D, then again the disease name is rickets, because calcium absorption occurs in the presence of vitamin D. So answer will be C. Which structures is the duodenum? Duodenum is the starting part of small intestine, and the small intestine start at the end of the stomach, and this part is C. So let's label the other parts. What is A? It's the stomach. And what is B? It's the large intestine. And what is D? It's the esophagus. Next question. So, humidity and the wind speed are the two factors that affect the rate of transpiration. How do these two factors affect the concentration gradient of the water? It means if there is a leaf and if you have any artificial source of wind, so what will happen? The more wind speed, it means it will carry the vapors along with. Okay, and but if there is less vapors inside and there is more vapors outside, then what happened? Due to more humidity outside, the concentration gradient will decrease. So it lowers the concentration gradient when there is a high humidity, mean more water vapors in the atmosphere, and high wind speed, it rises the concentration gradient because it carries the vapors away from the stomata. Here they have shown investigation into movement of substances in plants. A ring of tissues containing outer part of the transport tissue is removed. So when they remove the outer part of this transport tissue, actually if you look at the structure of the stem have phloem outside and xylem inside. It means if they cut a ring, they are removing the phloem. They are not removing the xylem, they are removing the phloem. So then the product of translocation, which is sucrose amino acids, they will accumulate here because here the phloem is removed, and then the answer will be A. The B is not the right answer because water minerals are transported through the xylem not the phloem. Which table structure showing the left ventricle? If we look at the A, this is a valve, and if we look at the B, this is the left ventricle. How you recognize it? Due to wall thickness, because left ventricle have most wall thickness. And if we look at the C, this is ventricle, but this is right ventricle. So this one is right ventricle. And D, this is vena cava. Okay, so which row shows the features of any artery or a vein? If we look at the artery, now I am going to draw artery. Artery have more wall thickness and small diameter, while the vein have large diameter or lumen size is larger and less wall thickness. So if we compare them, if we say the first one artery large lumen, no, it's wrong. Artery small lumen, yes, but thin walled, wrong. So if we look at the vein, it's a large lumen and thin walled, then C is the right answer. Next, the cholera bacteria in the gut cause secretion of chlorhydrins, which leads to diarrhea. Which diagram shows the correct movement of chlorhydrins and the water? So if we look at the movement by osmosis, if the chloride ions will move out, there will be a concentration gradient for water. So water always move from high water potential to lower. So water molecule also diffuse out into this area of the gut. Then it causes diarrhea. Different stages in the process of expiration are listed. So if we look at the process of expiration in our ribs, so we have the intercostal muscles and between the ribs, and also we have the diaphragm like this. So the external intercostal muscles and internal intercostal muscles work opposite to each other. And during this situation, the order is rib cage move downward. No, this is not the first one. Diaphragm and external intercostal muscle. This is a number one, because this one also contract and external intercostal, this one diaphragm muscles relax during exhalation, and this one intercostal muscles also relax. So after this, what happened to the rib cage? The rib cage move downward and inward. This is a number 2 point, and then the volume decrease and pressure increase. This is number 3 point, then air is pushed out. So this is number 4 point. We have to organize step by step what type of changes occur during exhalation. Which was showing the aerobic respiration, the substrate. This is a formula for aerobic, mean in the presence of oxygen. So we have this form in the presence of oxygen. The oxygen and the glucose break down. The glucose is oxidized, and then carbon dioxide, water is formed, because this process occurs in the presence of oxygen. In which organ is lactic acid respired aerobically to remove the oxygen debt? Oxygen debt is that oxygen amount needed to break down the lactic acid. So this is needed to break down lactic acid. So this process occurs in the liver, because in the liver maybe it's converted into glycogen, converted into glucose, but lactic acid will be broken down. The diagram shows the cross section of the kidney. What are the correct name for the structures PQR? P is ureter, Q is medulla, and R is cortex. So the answer will be ureter, medulla, cortex. B is the right answer. The which statement describe what happened during the transmission of electric impulse along the reflex arc? So when the transmission of impulse occurs, so one neuron and then the second neuron and the synapse occur between them. So relay neurons have receptor proteins which bind to the neurotransmitter. If there is a receptor proteins and this one is sensory neuron and this one is relay neuron, so neurotransmitter which is released here from the vesicles, it will bind here to the receptor protein. Okay, and this neurotransmitter containing vesicle is present here in the presynaptic neuron. So this is right answer. Why the B is wrong? The relay neuron has the vesicle which bind. So vesicles are not binding with the neurotransmitter. The C option is sensory neuron causes receptor proteins to release. So receptor proteins never release neurotransmitter. The sensory neurons impulse cause vesicle to release receptor. Vesicle release neurotransmitter. Vesicle never release receptor protein molecule. So A is the right answer. During the pupil reflex in the bright light, which describe the action of the muscles. So when we know that during the bright light, pupil constrict. Why it constrict? Because around the pupils, the radial muscle relax and circular muscles contract. So this type of action occur. So circular muscle of the iris contract and radial relax, and pupil size decrease during the bright light. Next question is which distribution of auxin will cause shoot tip to grow towards the light? Okay, the arrows are showing the direction of light. If the light is here in this area, it means the auxin accumulate in this area and those cells increase in length. Because if the auxin is present, the cell elongation occur and then this will move towards the light. So it will tilt and move towards the light. So this type of action will be there. Answer is D. What is an advantage of asexual reproduction in the wild population? The population has reduced ability to respond, so it's not the advantage. The population can increase rapidly when condition is suitable. This is the advantage because asexual reproduction needs less time. If we look at the C, the population show a lot of variations. So this is the characteristics of sexual, not asexual. The whole population will be killed by the disease. So this is disadvantage. It's not the advantage. Here they have shown the diagram. The structure is the part of the flowers. The arrow is showing. So if the pollens are transferred here to the stigma, it means this is not the cross pollination, this is self pollination. We have these options of self pollinations, and is it by the wind? No, it will be insects, because if it is by the winds, then the stigma should be feathery, so and petals should not be so much large, so stigma should be like this. Okay, so it is by the insect, so C is the right answer. In the sperm cell, which structures contain enzyme that can digest the jelly coat of the egg cell? So if we draw a sperm cell, the sperm cells have the nucleus and sperm cell have this area which contain the acrosome enzyme. Acrosome area contain the enzyme and which break down the protein coat which is present in the outer layer. This breakdown the protein coat of the egg cell by this acrosome in the enzyme which is present in the acrosome. So acrosome is that area. The following are involved in protein synthesis. So there is a sequence of protein synthesis. We have to organize that sequence. If we look at a cell and a nucleus, and here is a DNA, and that DNA is copied by mRNA, and this mRNA move out, and this mRNA settle in the ribosome, and here the polypeptide chains is synthesized. So let's organize. The first is DNA, number one. the DNA in the nucleus, then mRNA move to the cytoplasm, then mRNA attach itself to the ribosome, then amino acid organized in the order number 4. So this is a way how you recognize. So the steps will be DNA is the number 4. This is step number 1. Then second, then C is the right answer. A man a genotype heterozygous for A and the woman with heterozygous for B, and the chance of the child will have the same blood group as one of the parent. So if we make a cross of this one, the A, this type of gametes will be there, and we cross it with the B, so the type of gamete will be B, and O, this type of gametes will be there. So what is the chance that their child may have the AB, their child may have the AO, and their child may have the BO, and their child may have the O blood group. So if we look at the parental one was uh, the parental one was AO and BO. So this is 1 out of 2, right? A man who had red-green color blindness have the child. The woman does not have the red-green color blindness. The child has red-green blindness. If the child have red-green blindness, it means it carry that from both the parents. Suppose the father is color blind and the mother is normal but carrier. So in this situation, their child can be colorblind. So there is a 50% chance that their child can be normal or can be colorblind. So which type of variations can be inherited? Only those which are controlled by genes, they are inherited, and because environmental variations, they are not inherited. So B is the right answer. Which features of the leaf adaptation in the heart? If there is a leaf and if the stomata are deep inside, so it have such type of fairy or hairy feathery structures, and so that it can trap the water vapors and not allow them to leave. So that's why it have the hairy structure, because if they have large surface area, then more water loss will occur. If there is many stomata or thin waxy cuticle, then more water loss will occur. Question 35. Which term is used to describe the organisms that make its own organic nutrient? So only the plants can make their own organic nutrients, and they are called producers. The diagram shows the two pyramids based on the food chains. Okay, we know that the pyramid of biomass is always of pyramid shape. So P is a pyramid of biomass. But Q can be the pyramid of number, because number pyramid may not be pyramid shape. So why? Because if there is a single tree, and if there is a one tree, and on that one tree there are thousands of 10,000 caterpillar are feeding on it, obviously the number of caterpillar will be more, and on this caterpillar is 100 birds are feeding on it. So B is the right answer. What's the negative impact on the environment caused by deforestation? The negative impact is it increase flooding. So here they have shown the diagram, the position of 4 farms and the concentration of nitrate are different, because from the farms the nitrates will enter into this water source and it increase the nitrate level. So when it entered into the water source, it must be, the fertilizer should be entered here. So because it takes times, and between this time, the nitrates level will increase. So farm A is the right answer, so because which farm is likely have too much fertilizers on the land, because then it will takes time to enter into the water source. The diagram shows the bacterial cell containing plasmid. What is inserted into the plasmid? We know that insulin production method, what we do, we have a human cell, and its DNA from the human cell is taken, and we have the bacterial plasmid, and we cut that bacterial plasmid and insert our gene of interest here, and then we have this type of recombinant plasmid in which the gene for insulin production is inserted. So the length of DNA from the human is taken and it is inserted into bacterial plasmid, and this bacteria start producing insulin. Last question is, the yeast carry out anaerobic respiration, making carbon dioxide and ethanol as an end product. And we know that the glucose break down by the yeast, and this when the glucose break down by the yeast, what is formed? The carbon dioxide and ethanol is formed. And the biofuel, ethanol is used as a biofuel, and carbon dioxide is used for bread. How it is used for bread? Because the carbon dioxide bubbles escape out from the bread and keep it fluffy and soft and give texture to the dough. So we have done the paper. I hope all the concepts are clear. Don't forget to subscribe.